Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX and I'm Megha Sharma. Now, in a surprise move, the central government, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, scrapped the 3 controversial farm laws which were at the heart of the massive farmer protests across the entire country for over a year. The announcement comes in the backdrop of the thousands of farmers from Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan camping right outside Delhi since November 2020, demanding that the laws be withdrawn. But interestingly, despite the government announcing that the laws have finally been scrapped and the farmers need to return to their villages and towns and allow for a smooth transition of the Singhu border, the farmer leaders, including Tikait, have refused to leave the borders till the parliament session commences and the law is passed in both the houses. Tikait, in fact, today said that the protests against the farm laws will now end only after the legislations are repealed in the parliament. Though the question is, isn't it time that farmers left the border and gave some respite to Delhiites? Let's open up this debate. Joining me on the broadcast are my panelists. My first question is going to be with Ved Bhushanji, who is the former ACP of the Delhi Police. And Ved Bhushan, my first question obviously to you with regards to the law and order situation that the Delhi government and the governments, the Delhi police as well as the police of the neighbouring states had to face for over a year in view of the farmer protests that went on from November 2020 last year, and they are likely to continue up until the parliament session begins in just a couple of weeks.
देखिए, शुरू से ही आंदोलन अनरिलायबल रहा है। जब आपको याद होगा, बरावड़ी ग्राउंड का ऑफर किया गया था, आप वहां पर धरना प्रदर्शन कर सकते हैं, परंतु किसान के तमाम जो इसके संयुक्त किसान मोर्चा उसके तैयार नहीं हुए। दिल्ली को पूरी तरह घेर लिया गया, तमाम बॉर्डर्स को घेर कर रखा गया। उसके बाद में सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जब प्रोसीडिंग चली तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट के अंदर भी उनको कहा गया कि दिल्ली पुलिस अपनी बैरिकेड्स को हटा ले तो हम हट जाएंगे, तो वहां से भी ये लोग नहीं हटे। लाल किले पर जिस तरह से हिंसा हुई, और अभी आपने देखा पंजाब के अंदर जिस तरह दिल्ली पुलिस के अंदर तो 394 जो हमारे दिल्ली पुलिस के जो हमारे स्टाफ इंजर्ड हुए थे और 83 क्रिमिनल्स उसमें अरेस्ट हुए थे। जो पंजाब की गवर्नमेंट है 2-2 लाख रुपए उनको रिवार्ड के तौर पर, कंपनसेशन के तौर पर दिया गया। तो ये बिल्कुल एक्सपोज हो चुके हैं, इनकी सारी बातें निकल कर आ चुकी हैं कि इनकी इंटेंशंस आर डूबियस, क्योंकि ये रिलायबल नहीं है शुरू से, सिंस द डे किसान आंदोलन। अब वो बातें कर रहे हैं कि अभी हम उठाएंगे नहीं, अभी हम सीड बिल की बात करेंगे, अभी हम जो प्राइसेस को फिक्स करने की बात है उस पर बात करेंगे, बिजली के बिल पर बात करेंगे, वो नई नई डिमांड्स को लेकर आ रहे हैं। इनके इंटेंशंस आर समथिंग एल्स। इनके आप समझे कि ये सारा मामला किसानों से जुड़ा हुआ नहीं है, इनकी जड़ें कुछ और है, इनके इंटेंशंस कुछ और है, कुछ पॉलिटिकल मोटिवेटिव है।
वेद जी, आपने अपने पॉइंट्स यहाँ पे रखे। लेट मी आल्सो ओपन योगेश तलान, हु इज अ फॉर्मर लीडर. योगेश, हाउ डू यू रिएक्ट टू वेद भूषण's allegations going ahead and saying that the farmers' protest is not really what it is, what it looks like? It is deeply entrenched in political interests of certain leaders that are leading this protest for the last 1 year. And he also questions the fact that when the Prime Minister himself has come out in a public address, assured the people, especially the farmers, that the farm laws are finally going to be repealed. What is the point of going ahead with the protest up until the parliament session, or at least up until the President himself puts a seal on it? And not to mention, there are other subsidiary issues that have also been raised with regards to the MSP, with regards to the electricity amendment bill that needs to be repealed, and several other issues, and which are completely unnecessary, is what the critics have been saying. All right, while Yogesh joins me on the broadcast, Sumit, I'll pose the same question to you. You've heard what Ved Bhushan has said, and the statement that was made by the Prime Minister, जो किया किसान के लिए किया, जो कर रहा हूँ देश के लिए कर रहा हूँ. अब Now the fact that he has said that there was a communication problem and the farmers were not able to correctly interpret the benefits, the advantages of the 3 farm laws that had been rolled out by the central government led by the BJP and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. They have now been repealed, but critics go on and say that this has been done right ahead of the assembly elections because there had been a lot of chaos that the BJP was witnessing, especially in the states of Western Uttar Pradesh, in Punjab, in Rajasthan, in Haryana, and they were facing a dilemma as to whether repealing of the farm laws will be able to garner them the number of votes that they are looking for to win the elections.
Megha ji, thank you for having me on your show. I'll start from where Bhushan ji left. You see, this problem started because and was a communication gap. Because if you look at the numbers, all-time high production, all-time high procurement, all-time high disbursement. If these laws were against the farmer, then who was plugging the fields, who was sowing those crops, and who was harvesting, who was selling, and who got the money? And point number 2, these formulas are under suspension from Honorable Supreme Court. So today, as we talk, there is no formula. Farmers have been always saying, give us a surety that these laws will be taken back. Now the Prime Minister of India, on a public broadcast, comes and talks. It's not in a closed room. It's on a public broadcast when 1.3 billion Indians and all the world leaders and powers are listening to him. He, in a very open platform, comes and says, this will be taken back. So what else do you want? Now, if you have got the guarantee, the production is all-time high, the law stands suspended as we talk. Now, when you get the guarantee, what is this protest about? Why are you changing the goalposts? Why are you including unko shahidi de do? Just now I was watching your channel, one of the Kisan Neta was talking to your colleague. He said कि भाई अब हम 1 साल से यहाँ बैठे हैं, अब इससे और क्या मिलेगा? ये तो दे रहे और क्या मिलेगा? Then it's all political, because after political parties started joining it, demanding it, the protests become political. Honorable Prime Minister has solved the problem. It was a political problem. A political solution was needed, which is given. Now, by which virtue, which right, farmers are there to block the roads? They should now go to a Maidan, they should now go to a park if they want to continue the protest. When you have the guarantee from the Prime Minister of India, who else will give you the guarantee? Will have Biden's
okay.
guarantee?
So a counter retort to the argument that you've placed, Sumit, is the fact that the farmers say that, because of the kind of trials and tribulations that the farmer leaders, the farmers who have gathered in thousands of numbers for the last 1 year, they had been sitting during the summer season, the scorching heat, come winters, they were still over there, the rainfall, anything and everything that could have stopped them from going ahead with the protest was put about, but those handicaps had been surmounted by these farmers. So the farmers now go ahead and say that while the farm laws have been repealed, they have these other conditions as well that need to be fulfilled, thereby allowing for a complete victory of the Kisan Morcha, Sanyukt Morcha, that took out these farmer protests.
You see, what was the problem, Megha ji? The Kisan Morchas are across. First of all, it was only a problem limited to North India, Delhi, Haryana and Western UP and Punjab. It is not an all India problem. That's point number 1. Point number 2, they always said कि आप ये 3 law वापस लीजिए, हम घर जाएंगे. Now when 3 laws are taken back, why are you changing the goalpost? Where are the new laws and demands? Tomorrow you will say, we want assurity of seeds, we want assurity on urea, we want MSP to continue for 10 years, we want the government to ensure that at midst of my crop quality I'll get the MSP. Then it is like changing the goalpost. The problem is these leaders have become political now. They see their political fortunes. For example, when the issue is settled, what will Mr. Rakesh Tiket do? What is he going to do next day morning? He's going to watch NewsX. Possibly, there's nothing better he has to do. So as long as the situation is on, as long as the tents are on, as long as the roads are blocked, these leaders are political leaders. They see their political fortunes dwindling. The moment Prime Minister Modi repeals the law, opposition is rattled, so are these farm leaders. Ab bhai kare kya? But they're getting exposed in front of the whole nation. The nation is knowing what you have been demanding, why you came to Delhi. That is done, dusted, settled, promised on a national broadcast to where 1.3 billion people
Okay, you made your point. I'll bring in Bhushan once again. And Bhushan ji, do you think this is the defeat of the central government and the action has been taken in wake of the assembly polls that are coming forth, especially in Punjab and in Uttar Pradesh? And if this is not the case, why was the decision in this regard not taken 6 months ago? And the farmers could have been saved from the kind of turmoils and hardships that they faced while agitating.
Not at all, Meghna. It's a master stroke by the central government to SKM and so-called Kisan leaders. In fact, they are not Kisan leaders. I am again saying they are not Kisan leaders. They are hooligans. They are separatist movements. It's a different type of movement they are launching. Now they are exposed. Still, they are not going back, and they are saying they will not open the border. They are now being completely exposed. They are not respect for highest court, Supreme Court of India. They said they clear the borders, but they are saying that we will continue our protest and hold Delhi. They are. I can say.
Okay, are they holding
very
Delhi under
clear.
siege is the question that Ved Bhushan has put forth. If Yogesh Talan, farmer leader, if he's joined us and can hear us, I would like your first response to the repealment of the farm laws that has been announced by the Prime Minister today at 9 a.m. Is this a victory of the farmers and a defeat of the BJP?
Okay, but you should not see this episode to defeat or victory. Basically, it was the need of the country, and I would like to say that now this is not a good decision by the government, because government has taken this decision without taking any suggestion from the farmers. This absolutely done for the professionals, corporates, and the businessmen also. There is no at all benefit by this law to the farmers. So that's why it was not for farmers, and it's not a question for victory and defeat. It's a need. It's a need to do something for the farmers,
Okay.
which has not been done by the government so far.
Yogesh ji, do you think this action, this announcement by the Prime Minister could have been made perhaps 6 months ago, and the farmers' hardships could have been reduced?
Can I
But
intervene, please?
It should be at the time of beginning of this Andolan, because it's too late. They had so many, मतलब मैं तो ये कहूँगा कि now lot of harm and lot of loss has been done in the country due to this Andolan.
Okay, all right. Let me also hear from KC Sharma, who's a BJP spokesperson. KC Sharma, would you like to respond to what Yogesh Talan has said? Is it too little too late and the damage has already been done?
Actually, few people are questioning the timing. Few people are saying like these were not a good laws. Let me tell you, one student from PM. PM said we brought these laws for the farmers with a good intention, and we are taking them back in the interest of the nation. This one line tell lot of things. 2 days ago, the people who were doing their own politics, their private politics, their personal politics, their party politics, on the name of the farmers, they are frustrated, they are confused, they are completely shocked because they are unable to understand how they will move on. That is what is the problem is.
So, KC Sharma, do you think this is a masterstroke by the BJP government and Prime Minister Narendra Modi leaving all these invested parties, including these farmer leaders and opposition leaders, perplexed and flummoxed because right now they don't have any way to go forward in attacking the government?
I don't want to tag it anything because I don't want to link to the politics. It is done in the interest of the nation, and not only this, Prime Minister Modi ji has also announced 2 important initiatives. One is to make MSP more impactful. We have already done a lot in last
Here
year.
was the interest for this.
Let KC Sharma complete his point, and Yogesh, I'll come to you.
We have already increased the MSP. If you say the sarsong, it was about 3,000 per quintal when we came in a government. Now it is about 6,000 rupees per quintal. You can see the wheat, you can see rice, whatever. We have increased MSP price a lot, significantly, as well as we have increased the procurement. So means in both the terms, in the rate as well as in the procurement term, we have increased. But to make it more impactful and wide, we are going to, means our government is going to create a committee, and that committee will have officers from all the people from the central government, state government, farmers, as well as from the experts, so that we can also resolve that long-term issue. Now, second thing is zero cost farming, which our ancestors used to do it. Nowadays, it has been changed. So this government will also encourage, support, sponsor this type of the farming, so it will empower the farmers. We did a lot. Farmer knows it.
Okay.
What Congress could not done in a 60 year, what could not done in a 60 year by the Congress government, we did it in a 6 years itself.
But do
Just see.
you think everything has been whitewashed because the farm laws have had to be repealed?
No, it is not been whitewashed. It is in the heart of the people. Farmers never forgive if you do something good for them. Farmer knows 1,62,000 crore rupees already been directly transferred in their account through PM Kisan Yojana. Farmer knows now each and every land, the piece of the land, is having irrigation facility because government is working very seriously onto that. Farmer knows it now. Neem coated urea is available. They don't have to buy it in a black. They don't have to pay more. Farmer knows it. Like DAP price was increased internationally, but PM Modi ji helped them and did not allow to increase the price.
Okay. Yogesh Talan, would you like to respond to this?
Now they don't have to. Please give me just 30 seconds.
You've completed your point. I understand what you're trying to say, KC Sharma.
Just 30 seconds more. Farmer knows it. Earlier they used to go to the Mahajan for their petty expenses. Now they don't have to. Now banks are giving easy loan. Banks are giving the loan almost without interest, means very less interest, and government is also giving the subsidy into that. Farmers knows it. Today they have a bima and more than 1 lakh crore rupees being paid to the farmers against their calamity and against their claim. So that is what government is doing.
Okay. You've made your point. These are the advantages of having the central government and the state governments that are led by the BJP having made all these changes, resolutions for the farmers' welfare. Yogesh Talan, would you concur with what KC Sharma has said? And if such is the case, then why do the farmers continue to protest?
Okay, first of all, this one now I am not agree with this one. Now this is the interest of the nation. Because where was the interest before 1 year?
Not
at this stage.
Let Yogesh complete. I'll come back to you, KC.
And where is the MSP? So far, there is no arrangement, no facilitation has been provided by the government so far about the MSP. Farmers are dying in the mandi. You know, if you are on the side of interest of the nation farmer, then you have to care for the farmer. Farmer is going to suicide. Where are you? Either in electricity, either in MSP in the mandi, either the crop valuation. Where is? Nothing is overall. You are showing only this one in the interest of the election.
Okay, Yogesh, do you also feel that the farmers, because of the kind of power that they have in the country, 70% of our land is agrarian, and farmers are the ones who provide the food. They are the annadatas of the country, and by virtue of this power that they hold, they are also somewhere holding the central government hostage?
Pardon?
Are the farmer leaders also holding the government of India hostage?
Hello?
Yogesh, if you are able to hear me.
Hello?
Sumit Peer, I'll come back to you. We'll try to get that audio connection with Yogesh Talan. Do you think the farmers are at this point of time holding the government of India hostage? The same question that I asked Yogesh, keeping in mind that they have at this point of time the power, they are united in their stand. Every single act that the central government, the Ministry of Agriculture decided to take previously in terms of wanting to have deliberations have failed, and there was no way ahead for the government but to repeal the laws and then come to the discussion table with the farmers.
Megha ji, the point here is there are 3 points to it. The point number 1 is you see clearly when you hear Yogesh ji and when you hear other farmer leaders, they are changing the goalposts. And this is very clear, and now national media, anybody can make it out. Point number 2, what is very important here is that, these today, the protest is not controlled by farmer. The farmer is at the farm because that is why we have highest production, higher procurement and higher disbursement. If all the farmers are sitting on a dharna, who's cultivating the field? That's point number 2. Point number 3 is that today this movement has become political because a lot of political parties have joined in and a lot of Kisan netas are seeing their political fortunes in it. So it's become political. So the Prime Minister Modi solved this It may have started with the farmer protest, but it became political. And let's not forget there are a lot of international powers also who are doing their power play within it. We have discussed this numerous times. So when these all things are happening, this political problem needed a political solution. Today the problem is opposition is rattled. Look at Priyanka Gandhi ji, look at Rahul Gandhi ji, look at all the opposition leaders. They don't know what to do. Look at Kisan netas, they don't know what to say now. They came to Delhi saying कि ये 3 law हटा दो, 3 law हट गए, आपका दिल्ली में काम क्या? Why don't you go back? That is the question what the nation is asking them.
So then the nation is also asking what is the next step from the government of India and the farmer protesters. Now, if they are still not relenting, they are still wanting to have the parliament session to take place on the 29th of this month. They are waiting for the president to give them a seal of affirmation saying that yes, the farm laws have been repealed, and not just the farm laws that have been repealed, but the electricity amendment bill that needs to be repealed, the MSP guarantee bill that needs to be brought about, and there are other of their demands and suggestions that need to be included during those committee meetings. Where does the buck stop?
You see, the problem here is if you talk of MSP, we have been talking about MSP. Today, all the items on MSP, most of the prices from 2 years back, it is doubled or it is at least 1.5 times. This is official confirmed number. Now procurements are happening, payment is being paid. Now MSP is not an issue. Now the problem is here, if you want to solve the problem, you can always go back to your homes, go back to your farms, and you can keep on engaging with the government. What is the point of blocking the roads? Even the Honorable Supreme Court has said, please clean the roads. Why are you harassing the people of Delhi? Why are you harassing the economy? And Yogesh ji rightly said, कि इस farmer protest से बहुत बड़ा नुकसान हुआ है. So even farmer leaders are acknowledging this protest is causing a lot of money, billions of dollars to the country. So who is gaining out of this? When the government has told you, and when you don't trust the Prime Minister of the biggest democracy of the world, who on a public broadcast comes and tells you, I don't know whom and wherever can give you this guarantee. Now, if you tell me you trust Mr. Rakesh Tiket more than the Prime Minister, I'll tell you, by simple mathematics, your motives are then purely political.
Okay.
Tell me a person who cannot trust the Prime Minister. Okay. Will Prime Minister put all his goodwill at stake in a public broadcast and go back on his words? Do you think who will do this political blunder? Let's
pose this question to Yogesh Talan. And Yogesh Talan, you've heard what Sumit Peer has said. What should be the next step? The government has come forward. It has taken multiple steps to assuage the farmers, the farmer leaders. Should it not be then the responsibility of the farmer leaders, these protesters as well, to take a step ahead and mutually in a cooperative way resolve this issue for the larger good of the country?
Okay, it's a blame only. No one can sell their produce under the estimation of the value. Nowadays, only the farmer in India is constrained to sell their crops under the estimation value of the crop. So where is the government? Government should care all the things. So government care, a businessman can decide their price. Who will decide for this one? Farmers, how can decide the price of their crops? Under the circumstances of the mandi, Kisan is constrained and forced to sell their crops under the rates. So who is responsible for that? Who will care for this one? Government is absolutely responsible for this one, and so far there is no action has been taken by the government interest in the farmers. So it
my simple question, Yogesh, that the Prime Minister has come out, he's made this statement publicly. This is not a joke that is happening. A step has been taken, in fact multiple steps have been taken by the government of India to appease the farmer leaders, to appease the farmer protesters. Should it not become now the responsibility of the farmers also to take the next step ahead and patch up and resolve this issue amicably instead of causing so much problem, so many bottlenecks for commuters, for economic prosperity, for the marginal small farmers who are working on their fields and are watching this tamasha?
No, but no one step has been implemented by this. They are making their policies and steps in their papers only. On the ground,
the 3 farm laws have been repealed. What more is wanted by the farmer leaders? This was the demand of the protesters.
Basically,
they started suspended.
Such type of law, there is no need by the farmers. Why they have made it?
Can I share my views?
Yes, please go ahead. KC Sharma, make your point.
It seems Mr. Yogi doesn't know anything about the farmer. He doesn't have any link to the villages. If he knows, then he could easily distinguish what were the rates when we came in a government in 2014. I belong to the village. I'm the son of the farmer. I have lived into the village. And the life of the village.
Shivaji, you are the son of the farmer. I am the farmer. Not like this one. Now this is the
Let KC Sharma complete his point, and Yogesh, I'll come to you. I'll give you the due time that you would want.
Now, let me tell you, the infrastructure of the villages. Now, each and every village is connected to the road. Now, villages are having a toilet. Now, villages are having the support which is reducing their cost. Now, we are providing them better quality seeds so that they can have a better crops. And we are providing to the water. We are trying to provide the water to each and every piece of the land so that their costs gets reduced. We are sponsoring, or we are providing the support to the renewable energy so that they should not put more and more money into the diesel. They can use the renewable energy for their pumping and other things. We are trying our best to bring other crops. Earlier, only the wheat and rice was under the MSP. We are trying to bring other crops also under the MSP. We are providing the support to the sugarcane farmers. But now the ethanol is getting, ethanol, petrol or diesel prices will increase, so that the direct support to the meals and indirect support to the farmers is being provided. Logical support. Grant cannot help the farmers. Now the logical support, because the oil company continuously they buy from foreign, so then they'll be buy from our mills, and so it will help the farmers. So now we are creating the logical, long-running infrastructure mechanism which will continuously empower our farmers. Farmers are feeling it. Farmers are getting a benefit. Now, after today's decision, some farmers which were not convinced, they are also convinced. They are also happy. Only the Andolan GB are left. And I don't want to make any further comment onto the Andolan GB. Public will decide their future. Public will decide what to do with them. And we don't want to share anything else. But let me assure you,
Yogesh, I'm completely out of time. Let me rope in Yogesh once again. Yogesh, you would like to make a closing comment and respond to what KC Sharma is saying. Are the farmers, especially these farmer leaders, the protesters, are holding the government of India on ransom?
Delhi as a hostage.
I would like to say that now the roads not being closed by the farmer. It is closed by the Delhi police. And it is.
Have you seen these roads? Have you seen these roads? अरे आप कहाँ हिंदुस्तान में रहते हैं? दिल्ली में आए कभी?
You should go to there.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट आप सुप्रीम कोर्ट
आपके रोड पे लगे, दिल्ली पुलिस के रोड पे
आप आते नहीं कभी देखने के लिए? दिल्ली आइए, come to Delhi. Very strange.
Farmers are moving to
Delhi police.
They have come there.
Delhi police.
No, this is absolutely pure. You have seen already. You are not obeying this one. You are not following this one.
You are blackmailing now. Now you come on the back.
Okay, I only have as much time, and while there is commotion galore on our screens as well as on the ground as to when exactly are these farmer protesters, these farmer leaders going to let go of their strike, a year-long one that has compromised the situation in Delhi when it comes to commute, when it comes to economic activities, as well as brought about hardships for the farmers, the protesters who have been protesting on the sidelines, on the peripheries of the national capital region. The big question is, when exactly are these farmer leaders, these farmer protests going to take a step back and return to their homes after the announcement that has already been made assuaging the farmers by the Prime Minister?
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.